Magic the Gathering is my all-time favorite game. I have played this game since 1994. I've literally bought millions of cards. And recently I made the decision, I'm done. Back in 1994, I saw this card advertised in Troll and Toad magazine, and I loved the idea behind it, the flavor behind it, just the art, everything about this card spoke to me, and it made me want to play the game. On the other page of that magazine was this card, Drudge Skeletons, and it connected in my brain that Bad Moon would give Drudge Skeletons +1/+1, so I immediately got the idea of the game and its mechanics, and I was on board. I was ready to play. And that flavor of the world they had created for Magic the Gathering really spoke to me because I was a Dungeons & Dragons player already, and I just wanted to get in there and mix it up with Bad Moons and Drudge Skeletons and Orcs and Vampires and just see what this card game had to offer. And I fell in love with the game mechanics, of course, but more important to me than ever was the flavor of the game. And for almost the first 10 years of the game, it all took place on this world known as Dominaria, which was unlike anything else. It was similar to Dungeons & Dragons worlds that you're used to, but it was so uniquely magic that you couldn't help but fall in love. There were characters that you got to know and love through the stories that were told through the card games and the novels as well. You became invested in those characters and invested on those storylines, and it really mattered to you what happened in the next set. Even if the cards weren't very good, you were excited to see references to your favorite characters, your favorite story moments. Eventually, Magic began to branch out to other planes other than Dominaria, but they did a good job with the world building. It looked like Magic the Gathering. It felt like Magic the Gathering. The mechanics were the same, but so was the flavor. And even though it was a new world, a new plane with new characters, you still really felt like it was Magic the Gathering and not something else. Fast forward to 2024, and they continue to branch out to other worlds, like our Earth with The Walking Dead. Or don't forget things like Marvel or even SpongeBob. And of course, we had to include Fortnite. And for a while there, these cards were far and few between. You didn't have to buy them. You could ignore them if you wanted to. If you didn't want to play with them, if you didn't want to deal with them at tournaments, they just weren't going to show up very often. So you could turn a blind eye to it if you wanted to and focus on the mainline sets that included Magic the Gathering themed stuff. But then the mainline sets decided they wanted to do that alternative universe thing as well. So we started getting Magic sets based on futuristic rats. And don't forget cowboy adventures. And of course, the most recent set, which is set place in a haunted house from the future and included such cards as televisions, phones, and cheerleaders. And these aren't side projects and side sets and secret layers. These are mainline sets. So even if you don't want to play with this stuff, if you show up at a tournament or even at a casual night, you're going to have to play with these cards. And I don't know about you, but it just doesn't feel like Magic the Gathering to me when it's Gandalf getting stuck inside of a television screen so that Iron Man can swing in for the win. And the problem is getting a lot worse because in 2025, we have sets based on Tokyo drifting, Final Fantasy, and an entire set centered around Marvel's Spider-Man. And keep in mind, these are not supplemental products. These are not cards that you can just ignore. These are the main line sets. This is what Magic is now. And you know, for every person that's mad about the state of Magic, I see a person that's excited to get into the game because they love Doctor Who, they love Warhammer, they love Final Fantasy, they love Fallout, they love Spider-Man, and they want to play a game based on those properties. And you know what? More power to you. But I fell in love with the world that Magic the Gathering created and inhabited. And I lived in that Magic the Gathering world in my mind since I was 20 years old, all the way to the age of 50. And it really sucks saying goodbye to that world to make space for Spider-Man. But that's the decision they made, and it's a decision I can live with. Maybe it's time that I hung up my cards and saw what other games have to offer. As always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and we'll speak with you again soon.